I just wanted to do a quick little thing on my favorite engine combos. Now, everybody has their opinion on engine combos. And I would say, and based off of my opinions based off of my experience with my combos. Now, I've had everything from 1600 turbo. Ooh, that was fun. All the way up to 2498 turbo. One of my favorite engine combos. You're like, well, what are you, just a turbo guy? Yeah, pretty much. But I've had nitrous. I've had high compression. Um, I've had every single kind of pretty much combo you can think of, except for a lot of the smaller engine combos. I pretty much bypassed all that. Now, do I not like small motors? Yeah, pretty much. And the reason for that is if you're going to put all the effort into it and put it in, you're pretty much going to outgrow it really quick. No matter what motor you put in there. If you put the biggest motor you could possibly build and put it in your car, you're going to outbuild it or outgrow it. Let's say that. Now, based off of that, I would say one of my favorite combos was my 2498. Now, why is it I picked the biggest motor possible? Well, honestly, and this is there's one right here sitting next to me. Not that one. That's 21, what is that? 20, not 2180, 2176 turbo blow through. Bitchin' motor combo. Really cool. D-stroked and big piston. I love that. This one, though, 1915. Very extremely common build. We do those a lot. I don't know if you can see this one over here. It's got boxes on top of it because it's parts that are waiting for it. That is 2332. A very common motor. But why do I like big motors so much? Now, the main reason for the big motor and why I like them so much is the drivability. The other reason is, let's just pretend you brought parts into me to build your motor. Let's just pretend you brought me a, 2276. Great motor combo. It gives me, the builder, the option to dictate compression. Okay, well, whatever. But it also starts allowing me to play with rod ratio. That starts to influence based off of what your intended use is. So if it's going in a bus, I might want to put a longer rod in there versus a 5.4. I might want to change things on that. I might want the power for you cruising down the highway at 70 miles an hour, which is 33, 3,400 RPMs. I don't know, depending on your gearbox and your tire size. It might be 35. I might want the rod ratio to work out so that piston's very happy turning those kind of RPMs. That's things where different engine combos you can actually start playing with. When you start doing big motors, you can just start dropping the RPM. You can start making that motor work at 2,900 RPMs, 3,100 RPMs. Let's just say around that 3,000 RPMs, that thing's cruising at 70 miles an hour. Now, an example is my fastback. I have a very tall fourth gear, very tall tire on the back, 70 series tire on the back. Because of that, 70 miles an hour is about, 3,050, I'm going to call it there, RPMs. Now you're like, whoa, that motor might get hot because it's not turning the fan fast enough. No, see, I've solved that problem by speeding the fan back up. I have different oil cooler. If you've seen my car, it has an oil cooler up front. Oil cooling isn't an issue. Head and cylinder cooling is what I focused on my engine. But because that, the motor is only turning 3,000 RPMs going 70 miles an hour down the freeway. Because of that, I can go 80 and I'm barely turning 3,300 RPMs. You can see how this works out. So going on long trips, if I want to cruise at 80, 82, 85 miles an hour, I can do that and I'm not buzzing the motor. That's the biggest thing. Don't buzz your motor. In my opinion, buzzing a motor over 3,500. If you're running a standard rod ratio on your engine build, you might want to do some math and figure out, are you working the rings kind of? Rings don't like to be tipped tipped, tipped, tipped. It causes the ring that's supposed to be flat to be doing this constantly. Well, it starts to round the ring. It causes the ring to want to ride on oil and stuff like that instead of scraping it when it's supposed to be. But besides that, let's go back to the original question. What is my favorite motor combo? Well, the Fastback has 84 by 90.5? No, 92. The thick wall 92s. My bus, though, has 82 by 94, your traditional 2276. For making power, can't beat 94s. You can't beat larger pistons to push off of. Some of the best engine combos, 104, 105 pistons to push off of. Your Type 4 is really catered to that. But in the Type 1 world, I don't know. I'm a big fan of 2387. It's a great engine combo for those of you that want big power, daily driver. If you're going to build a bus motor, consider a 2387. Mostly if you get to talk to people that have owned them already. Different rod ratios, different ways of cooling that particular engine size. You can do certain compression combos with certain cam combos and get a motor that won't build heat. It just goes forever. And I have quite a few guys that are running that. That's probably one of my favorite motors. And if I had to build a street car right now, let's say IDA motor, besides turbo stuff, if I had to build like a big IDA motor and I want it to be a beast, put like FK10, put that thing at 10-1 to compression, some bitchin' 4437 heads, maybe even open up the exhaust a little bit more or get a custom ground cam, get that thing to breathe on the exhaust. What? And next thing you know, you got a motor that's pretty fun. Stay in that 264 duration range, maybe up to 266 for a street car. If you got a gearbox in it, maybe like a 5-speed with a close ratio, you could consider a 268 degrees. Am I making up words here? Degrees of duration. There we go. I'm adding an extra G. If you do something like that, that would be pretty bitchin'. Unless you got a set of IDAs or fuel injection. Yeah. So I am playing with a lot with the fuel injection. Right now, I'm contemplating doing a 2387, something around bigger than FK10, smaller than FK87, on the street. Put the thing at 10-1 so I can run on pump gas and do it all day long with something around the equivalent of like only 48 IDA, but it has no Venturi, so that means it flows 48. Oh, what does that work out to be? That's like 62. Something like that would be pretty cool. I almost want to do that with a set of Superflows or something like that, or comp eliminators. I don't know. I do have a set of autocrafts I could play with. 2-inch 100. They flowed well over 312. Okay, never mind. Besides that, I'd say that's pretty good combos. Now, for those of you that are very fond of smaller engine combos, I've always said for the engine builder, let me switch hands. Oh, I'm getting tired. Here, I'll change background for you. What do we got over here? We got a girl on a motorcycle. For those of you that are very fond of your 2387, here, I won't get you so close because you're probably sick of looking at me. Here, so that way I look smaller and like a normal person. I'm going to say, look at it, switched hands without you even knowing. For your 1776 engine builder guys, great motor. I would only recommend it for around town here in Southern California. It's a great little engine to drive to the beach in. But here, if you live in Southern California, you have to drive up a big hill to get out of this place. Meaning Grapevine, Cajon Pass, Highway 8. Because of that, they don't make it. They're not realistic. You need torque. As I always say, you need to swing a bigger hammer. Swinging that little tiny 69 stroke hammer is not going to cut it. You need something that will pull a gear and you can drive sustained, meaning 70 miles an hour. For the buses by the bridge guys, if you're going to do the bus by the bridge cruise, I don't know, 90% of you are driving more than 300 miles. Okay, if you're comfortable driving 55, 60 miles an hour, hey, keep that 69 stroke combo going. But for me personally, my bus is 2276. It's actually turbocharged. Do I need the turbo to go 65, 70 miles an hour? No, you don't. Actually, the turbo's there for passing power, climbing grades, getting on the freeway, pulling out on traffic and making a merge in front of everybody. That's where the turbo comes into play. Do you need it? Does everybody need turbo? No. Is it cool as F? Yes, very much so. I would say, besides the sound of supercharging sounds cool. Doesn't make power the same as a turbo, but turbos make power. Turbos are worth the effort. Mostly if the combo is set up for it. If you talk to an engine builder who's comfortable building turbo applications and turbo engines, they will be recommending cam selections, head selection, compression, so you drive on the motor and not on turbo. If you get the motor too small, you're going to rely on turbo. You do not want to rely on turbo. In other words, you don't put a 1600 in it and then turbocharge it and expect to climb grades. Because what happens when you compress air? It gets hot. It expands. Because it gets so hot, your engine gets hot right along with it. So I recommend build a big motor if you want to turbocharge it for the sound. And that little bit of extra power, maybe a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more, and a little bit more. Okay, turbo's great for that. For 100% relying on it, in other words, your motor only makes this much power and you're asking this much from turbo, not a good idea. Not the best idea. When it comes to compressing air, it heats up. So you got to do something. Since our engines are in the back, where are you going to put the intercooler? You need to put it somewhere. So if you put it on the side, that's fine. It'll cool good amount of charge. I wouldn't rely 100%. So in other words, if you're climbing a grade on boost, compressing air, 6-7 pounds, climbing up a hill for a sustained length of time, oh, you're asking for it. That baby's going to boil. That's a crock pot just right there. I would say a good combo, minimum in a bus. I don't know why it's turned into a bus talk, but minimum in a bus, speech impediment. I don't know. I'm an 82, but I'll say 78 stroke. I would like 82 stroke minimum. Minimum, no matter what. Anything smaller, you might want to slow down. Maybe not take your wife. Maybe not take your husband, depending on who's watching us. Significant other, children, pets. No, take the pets no matter what. I don't care. I'm building a bigger motor for pets. But besides that, so consider when you're going to do an engine, if you guys need help, give us a call here at Shop. We'll give you our recommendations and what type of combos and cams and all that stuff. Only thing I ask is, if you're going to ask us questions, buy the parts from us. That's pretty rude if you don't. Besides that, 82 stroke, 84 stroke, 86 stroke, ooh, a little warm fuzzy feeling. 88 stroke, oh, that's badass. Yeah, that's badass. 90 stroke, ooh, in a bus with fuel injection, small little cams, small heads. Oh, that's a dream. I bet you I could build that and still get 22, 23 miles per gallon. That wouldn't be hard. I have a lot of 23, 32 guys getting upwards of 22 to 25. So 2387 guys, they're up around 20 to 22 miles per gallon. But they also drive like a nut because there's so much power on reserve. So, all right. I think we're up to 15 minutes here, this conversation. I wanted to post this so that people know where I'm coming from. Although we build a lot of large motors, we are not 100% a drag race place. People go, oh, you guys build only drag race stuff? No, we don't. No. In fact, I don't know when the last drag motor I built for a customer, because you know why? Drag racer guys never pay. They want everything on discount. Oh, I'll put your sticker on the side. No, you won't. So I would say 2387's badass, 2332, 2276. The old question, whatever you can afford, kind of dictates what you can build. Now, don't forget about transmission, clutch, oil cooling. Yeah, don't forget about that. Those are important. If you're going to tow a boat with your truck, they always ask you, how much does the boat and trailer weigh? That dictates the oil cooler size or the trans cooler size. It's the same thing for your bus. If you're going to drive a certain speed and you're going to build a certain size motor and you're going to drive aggressively and your bus weighs a certain amount, you need a certain type of cooling or certain size cooling to help combat that. And always remember, head and cylinder cooling is upstream, meaning most important, oil cooling is downstream. So you can have 500 oil coolers, they don't cool your heads and cylinders. Head and cylinder cooling and paying attention to that is more important than just oil cooling. All right? Don't get brainwashed by, I bought the $500 oil cooler. Why? This is more important. All right, everybody, have fun. Don't forget to build the biggest motor you can afford. Don't overbuild it. Don't forget transmission, those type of things. And if you guys have questions, go to, that means I'm going to probably forget to put it up here, but it's going to say lowbugget.com. LowBugget. Not budget, Bugget. Woohoo! Have fun, everybody.